Kia ora, good evening. A massive explosion in Invercargill this afternoon shook parts of Clyde Street and caused serious injuries to two people. A gas bottle exploded on the back of a stationary downer work vehicle, causing serious injuries to a male, while a female suffered glass injuries due to close proximity to the blast. Both are receiving treatment at Southland Hospital. The work ute was extensively damaged during the explosion, along with several other vehicles, and a number of buildings had windows blown out. Police say the evacuation zone was extended due to the unstable environment, but was lifted almost 2 hours later when the gas bottle was removed. The blast was felt over 4 blocks away, and those working close by were left in shock.
Yeah, well, we're in the office at NZ Safety in Clyde Street here, and we heard a loud explosion. We naturally thought it was part of our building, to be honest, for a start, because there was pieces flying around everywhere, a bit landed on the roof. We shot outside and we could see that there'd been an accident across the road. Two of us started directing traffic, and yeah, it looked like the back had been blown off a vehicle. There was a poor gentleman lying on the ground. Yeah, it was something horrific, actually.
As far as the noise, can you describe what that was like?
Oh, it's just a loud boom. The whole building shook. It was, yeah, just incredible. Everyone's still shaking a wee bit of shock and things like that. So yeah, it's just amazing.
Have you any idea what has actually happened as far as the accident goes?
No, not sure at all. Just that from what we could see, the back had blown off a vehicle, and yeah, this poor gentleman was on the ground. That's about all I can tell you about that.
The debris that ended up on the roof at New Zealand Safety, what do you suspect that might be?
To us, it's a big piece of probably the canopy of his vehicle. Yeah, it appears to be that.
And your location compared to where the accident happened?
We're probably 70, 80 metres away from where he was, yeah, or from where it happened. So yeah, quite a wee way.
Meanwhile, minutes later and just blocks away, another serious accident occurred on the corner of Teviot and Yathen Streets. A collision between a Honda sedan and Holden sedan occurred around 3:20 p.m. The jaws of life were used to extradite the female driver of the Honda, while the front seat passenger watched on, still trapped. The driver was taken to Southland Hospital by ambulance, but her condition is unknown. 2 ambulance and 2 fire appliances attended the scene. The trial of Easy Rider owner Gloria Davis resumed today at the Invercargill District Court. Proceedings had been delayed after the defendant became ill last week. Ms Davis is the sole director of the company that owned the fishing vessel Easy Rider and widow of skipper Riwai Karatai, who lost his life along with 7 others when Easy Rider sank in Foveaux Strait in March 2012. Maritime New Zealand has laid 10 charges against either Ms Davis or her company involving the safe operation of the vessel. The trial's expected to conclude later this week. MP for Invercargill Eric Roy recently announced that he would not seek the National Party nomination for another term as Invercargill's parliamentary representative. Hunter Andrews asked him whether the decision not to run was his alone and of his plans post-election.
No one's breathed on me or said it's time you should go or anything. I actually informed Prime Minister John Key in August about 18 months ago. I said this is going to be my last term. So I've made it no secret within the party. I've told my own executive. So I haven't been breathed on, told to go. It's my decision. Very happy with it.
I think that last time we spoke you were saying that at that stage you were going to run.
Yeah, well I had to sort of looked like I was still interested for all sorts of reasons, and
you're not going to let us in on those, are you?
No. Look, look, I'm just happy to have announced the decision in 2014, which is the year of the election. There's a selection process opening tomorrow for my replacement, and it's all about timing, about how you manage those things within the party.
Would you call it a safe-ish national seat?
No, I've never regarded it as safe. I've always realised that you're there at the pleasure of the locals, and it's kind of a 3-year performance review and I think that's a pretty good system. I'd like to see it as a 4-year term, but it is a 3-year term, and I've never regarded it as safe at all. You're there at the pleasure of the people you represent.
Would you like to see a lot of people having a go? That this is there hasn't really been competition here for the candidacy, has there? Have you come up against people previously?
Well, when I sought to come back, you recall my career was Awarua for 1 term, MMP came in, 2 years on the list, then I was out of Parliament, and when I came back there was a contest. There were 3 of us contested for Invercargill, and no one's challenged me since that time.
So the party mechanism may be a bit rusty in that?
No, party mechanism's a well-oiled machine, Hunter. Well-oiled machine.
And I know it's the end of the year. Well, people are saying the election could be a bit earlier than we think, perhaps. What for you afterwards?
Well, look, I'm waiting on my 13th grandchild to arrive this week. Should have been the end of last week, so it must be getting closer. Look, I've got a whole range of things around family, around my businesses, which have been a bit neglected in some ways. I want to finish writing a book that I've started, and I just need some time to get my head cleared to do that. There's some interesting opportunities with some of the associations I've made, particularly in Asia and China, where people are interested in investing in New Zealand and purchasing New Zealand produce, and whether or not they still will want me when I'm not an MP and I haven't been able to engage in that. I want to explore those opportunities. Southland's pretty special, and it's recognised as pretty special. And look, if I can add value to produce and the province, I'm happy to do it, even if I'm not an MP.
Some interesting things happening with the Labour candidacy, or the nominations being opened again. Things are getting interesting, and in fact, it's been said in light of your retirement announcement, they've reopened the nominations. That's of interest.
Oh, look, I think when we start looking over our shoulder at what other parties are doing, we've lost the plot. I think that National here is focused on its own program and to make sure they get the right person who understands what's required for the electorate, and that's what we'll be doing. Yes, it is of interest, but it doesn't drive any decision making that we'll be doing.
As mentioned in the previous item, the Labour Party has reopened the nomination process for the seat of Invercargill following Eric Roy's retirement announcement. Labour Party General Secretary Tim Barnett says the party has received expressions of interest from at least 2 people keen to seek the party's nomination for the Invercargill seat. Former Labour List MP Leslie Soper, whose nomination was uncontested late last year, is relaxed about the decision to reopen the selection process and says the decision can only be good for the democratic process. Nominations close this Thursday, with the naming of the candidate expected within a month. Stay with us after the break. Crank Up Day at Edendale and Into the East at the Tui Music Awards. Welcome back. Invercargill duo Into the East have missed out on being named the Best Folk Album at the prestigious Tui Awards held over the weekend. Singers Graham Wohler and Liv McBride, along with 2 band members, travelled to Auckland for Saturday night's awards ceremony. The Auckland-based band, the Invercargill-based band, along with 2 Auckland acts, performed to a 2,000-strong crowd before the winner was announced, taken out by Tattletale Saints. Into the East have booked their entire New Zealand tour on the back of Saturday's performance, including a show in the West Auckland Hills to an audience of llamas. It's still summer break for most students, but over the holiday period, around a dozen professionals attended the first summer school of coaching at the Southern Institute of Technology. Personal coaching is a growing industry and helps people become more flexible in their thinking and lose fear of change, according to Prague-based coach Monica Barton.
Basically, probably the first country when coaching started was United States. Currently, this is the second fastest industry there, and basically from that it was moved to Europe, and now countries like China, India, the BRIC countries, they are really adopting a lot of coaching, and New Zealand as well, Australia as well.
So the whole coaching concept's getting more and more momentum as awareness grows down here?
Absolutely. Finding it still in its embryonic stage down here in Southland, but we're really hoping with each course that we do here down at SIT to increase the awareness of what coaching can achieve in organisations, not just for managers but also for small business owners who are thinking about how to grow their business. It's a really good skill and a really good mechanism for helping them to do that.
So what is the plan with the course from here? Will there be more of them over a more regular basis?
We'd really like to do it again, hopefully next year, and if there is enough demand then we would do it during the year as well, and possibly in different locations as well, possibly at the Queenstown campus or Christchurch.
The 27th annual Vintage Crank Up Day was held at Edendale over the weekend. Organisers say a record crowd attended the 2-day event, this year celebrating 110 years of tractors in New Zealand, 100 years of Dodge and 100 years of Morris. A new layout this year provided better visibility and seating for crowds who were entertained by special guests and vintage machinery at its finest. The first Crank Up was held in 1986 on a local farm with 25 tractors and other machinery for a public display. The annual events shifted to the Edendale Recreation Grounds in January 1988. Broadcaster Bill Hohepa had his extensive contribution to recreational fishing and the community acknowledged in the New Year's Honours List, being made a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit. Mr Hohepa began writing fishing items and books 45 years ago before moving to television in the 1980s and 90s. The fishing guru spoke to Hunter Andrews earlier today.
In 1979 we started a school project called, we just took kids fishing in school holiday programs, and the Auckland City Council gave us a van and all the gear, and we took about 20 kids up north. We set up camp and we taught them all how to fish, and I thought that was so successful, we'll do this sort of on an annual basis. And then it became sort of every school holidays, and then in 1993 we formalised the whole thing and it became Camp Hohepa Incorporated, and I had a good team of people behind me to sort of organise the camps, and we take 24 kids away for a week and teach them to fish. We did it countrywide, down at Wairarapa, Kapiti, South Island, at Nelson, the North, Auckland, all over the place we did these camps, and it was just amazing to find a kid who's got the whole attitude thing, just hoods over, hands in the pockets, sloping around, but catch one fish, kahawai usually, and wow, suddenly it's just lit up and he's just a kid again, just like that, one fish, and it was just absolutely amazing to go through that, yeah.
Do you get people coming and saying, Bill, you're the reason I now fish? Do you feel responsible for a few less fish in the sea?
Well, there's a lot of fish in the sea. I don't think it's recreational fishing people that are raping and pillaging the sea, so...
Which is a whole other question, really.
Absolutely. But no, a lot of people have been inspired by writings, the videos, the books. In fact, a lot of people. I've still got your old book in the batch, Bill. We'll get it down and you can sign it sometime. And then the DVD. So the whole thing's been about teaching people to fish. Because when I was doing it when I was young, nobody told you anything. You had to, where'd you catch that? Just over there. Tell you nothing, take you nowhere. So it was just an opportunity that came along, and I thought, well, let's start teaching people how to fish. The offside of that, of course, is boat safety, water safety, and all those things that go with it. Staying alive on the water is quite a major thing.
And that's all from the news desk this Monday. Sport is along next from the news team. Good night.